All right, welcome back to the Race BMX show. We are in, for some of you might know him, we got loaned the space from Amper, one of the the inventors of the 4130 safety crew and one of the original riders of 4130. We are here with Jeff Bottema right now. And if you recall 2 episodes ago, I was interviewing Toby Henderson and Jeff came
But I
up.
went to a BMX race with my friend Jeff Bottema on one Sunday afternoon at a local park, and he won $300 in 1979 on a Sunday afternoon.
Dude, that's like...
I looked at that. I said, "You just won $300." He said, "Yeah, why?" Like it was normal for him, right?
And Jeff came up multiple times, and as you know, Toby came up on the very original episode with Kendall Crabtree of Big Wheels Bicycles, and I like.
Yep. I currently ride a 1993 Iron Horse prototype frame that was made for Toby Henderson. I worked at Iron Horse at that time, and Toby didn't like the way it rode and threw it aside, and I walked behind him and took it and put it in my car, and I still have it today.
I like to follow the spider web, and I like to follow the names that I was reading about as a kid in the magazines, and I was already getting ready to chase Jeff down when I saw an ad. I had somebody sent me the link to an article about his forks coming out again. And then I contacted him, and a few days went by when we planned on meeting today. And I look on Instagram today, and we've actually gone past the forks, and he has a signature 29-inch Race Inc. coming out right now. So let's talk to Jeff, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi. How's it going?
It's going great, man. I'm really glad that I have you here.
Yeah.
And like I said, when I was a kid, you know, you're part of the people that I grew up on.
True, yeah.
You know, and I watched a lot of videos then, and I remember it from the past.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden you have forks and a bike coming out. So I figure this isn't your first signature bike, but this is your current signature bike.
Yeah.
So why don't we open up the episode with this amazing surprise, you know?
I mean, it couldn't be just perfect timing as far as, you know, with the bike being released today on Instagram and overwhelming. Overwhelming isn't even the word. I mean, it's like gone viral. I mean, almost viral, you know, with the reaction from everybody, you know. So I couldn't be more stoked, you know.
Were you getting lots of direct messages?
Oh, yeah. I mean, totally. You know, I tried to reply to everybody I tried to reply as much as I could, you know, and sorry if I mean, it got to the point, obviously I had to get ready to come down here, you know, so I cut it off, but I mean, it was still being, people were still posting.
It's going to keep going.
Yeah. And I tried to reply to everybody, you know, and there's, everyone's had, you know, the same question is, how much is it going to be? What colors are going to be out? Right. You know, so these.
Yeah, well, let's ask that question ourselves. The one that's up is the black with the gold and chrome.
Yeah.
Is that your design? Are these colors?
I mean, yeah, we work together. You know. Now we're still it's still a work in progress. You know.
Okay.
I mean, but these were you know, again, just kind of they. You know, they kind of asked my opinion, and I kind of shared some stuff. So we're early. I'm hopefully this could be an ongoing. Maybe we'll do it. I would like. I mean, in a perfect world, I'd like to have do a 20, 24, 26.
Wow.
I mean, you know,
yeah, you're ready.
I'm dreaming. You know, these are big. These are, you know, big. But hey, you know. If this is any indication, you know, I mean, if any indication from today, you know, the overwhelming popularity of the bike, you know. So anyway, to get back to your question, it's a collaboration. You know, we work together. We work all, you know.
Now it did say that it's going to have your component option on it. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yeah, but
Now, does that mean that you chose the parts that are to be going on it as well as the colors, or that's in discussion right now?
Yeah, it's kind of in discussion. I mean, basically, they gave me. It's kind of like a multiple choice.
Okay.
you know what
Sure.
I mean. In a perfect world, you know, if in a perfect world. Well, we won't listen. I don't want to.
Will it have your forks?
Oh yeah, totally. Now that's the whole thing. Yes, of course. And that's.
Let me pause you. They're legendary forks among the early BMX world, right? People still try to acquire them to this day. The dropout is a little bit higher up on the fork, and they were known for being stronger than all.
Yeah,
the others.
they're definitely heavy duty forks. You know, that's what the whole
Is
the
the
whole
new one that way?
Right, the new one is that way. Exactly,
Oh.
exactly. We are going right back to the originals, and also, it's so cool. The original artwork that Bob Harrow designed for me, you know, on the fork decals, 40 years ago, I guess it was. You know,
Get out.
No, yeah, Bob Harrow designed them, designed those stickers that are on same exact
Wow.
stickers.
So you have a
So-
modernized version of your
Yeah.
fork with the original artwork
original
by
artwork.
Bob
Wow.
Harrow. More BMX connection.
Yeah.
And that must be really exciting. But they're threadless now.
Yeah, they're threadless, totally threadless. Yeah, and they're
Thank
they're
God.
yeah, you know, and the thing what is so cool, this is I mean it couldn't be more awesome. Is now this bike is a 29-inch bike, and on these 29s, you know, it's a bigger wheel. It's a big wheel. You
I'm
know?
all about
Yeah,
29s.
yeah, okay, and so you know, you need this fork on that bike, you know, because that bike, dude, it is totally. I mean, like the strength. You need the strength, is what I'm getting at, and you got the strength with these forks. It's gonna make that bike is gonna ride so good.
Oh,
know?
you think it's going to make the
Oh.
like a more
It's just gonna be
a smoother ride?
Oh, totally. It's just gonna be more stable. You
is
know,
that why you put the dropout up high originally?
Well, originally what it was.
Keep the mic up close.
Oh yeah. Originally, what I did was, you know, I used to race motocross, so I rode motocross. Grew up.
Which will be discussed.
Yeah. Which I grew up, you know. So you know, I was about 18. I was about 18, and we were kind of having problems bending forks, you know, a little
Right.
bit, you know, jumping, you know, about that time, you know.
Sure.
So you know, it's kind of a drag, you know. So anyway,
Yeah, of course it's a drag.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
breaking
so-
your fork.
yeah. So you know, I had a really cool garage setting, kind of like this, you know, and I'd pull my truck in, you know, and I had a cool. Anyway, I sit there and listen to stereo or whatever, and just stare, and have my motorcycle sitting there, an RM 125.
Okay.
This is like, you know, back in what
Which
seven.
you also raced motorcycles professionally for a while.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. You know, like I said, I grew up right. I basically I'll go into. I got a whole story behind the whole thing, but basically, I was looking at I had my RM 125, you know, back in '78, and I don't know if you recall or not, the forks were really like the axle on that was up high. It was just identical to my fork. You know, I designed
Okay.
it just like it. So, because it's just the way the forks were. Now they're,
Wait,
they're
so you
di-
based your fork off of a motorcycle
Yes,
fork?
I did. Yes, I did. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. See, nowadays they're inverted. Like the axle's right at the bottom of the fork. There's no over, no.
Yeah, there's a lot of options out there
Yeah,
now. But
yeah. But back then it was the axle was up higher, and the fork went past the axle. You know, for travel. You know. So I was looking at it and I'm going. I
understand now.
Yeah.
In
You
a
know.
physics sense,
Mhm.
it's a better ride.
Yeah, I mean it's just and so now and then I went to like one wall thickness on the tubes, you know, and then
Okay.
the dropouts are a little thicker, you know, than normal.
Hopefully, yeah. Right?
So because I mean, basically we needed stronger forks, you know, and then what it did, it accomplished a couple of different things. I mean,
Were you a big air guy as a young person?
yeah, you know, pretty much. Well,
Okay.
yeah, you know, primarily, yeah, air, you know, berms. We did it all, you know.
Sure.
We did it all. I mean, just whatever. Basically, what it comes down to is, I was emulating. I was pretending like I was riding my motorcycle. You know, I'd ride my bicycle. You know, I'd be making the noises. You know,
Okay.
because I basically
Sure.
okay. Let me get back to you know. I wanted to race motorcycles really bad growing up.
Okay.
And ever since I was, my dad used to take us out to the desert every weekend from like 5 years old. When I was like 5 years old.
Oh, you were born on
Yeah,
a
yeah.
motorcycle practically.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
We'd go every weekend camping, and we had a trailer, you know,
Uh-huh.
and we'd go out to the desert every weekend. I mean, from
So did you find your way onto a BMX bike by mistake based off the motorcycle?
well, what it was, you know, of course, I was, you know, I had first started out with a Taco mini bike, and then went to like a YZ80 and
sure.
you know, a Hodaka Super Rat, you know, and then on to then like the Suzuki. But what it was, you know, I just wanted to race motocross, you know.
Okay.
But I couldn't. You know, I basically it was well. First of all, my parents, or not my dad, but my mom especially. She was all against it, big time. You know.
Right.
Yeah. So, and we didn't. You know.
Yeah, look at you now, though.
Yeah. Yeah. You know. So and I didn't come from a ton of money, you know. My dad was a simple man, you know, and but it was cool. I mean, I had the killer upbringing, but so it was weird. Okay, this is a trip to think about, but so I'd go every weekend, go riding, you know, and it was so cool. I dug it so much, you know, and then I'd come home, and then and had my bike, you know, and so I would go out and ride, and so you know, I'm bummed because I wanted to ride every day
Yeah, if you
motorcycles,
couldn't
you know.
be on your motorcycle,
yeah.
you'd pretend.
So what happened? Yeah, so I'd get on my bike, and you know, and I was actually it was more out of aggression from being I'm just not pissed off, but I would just I mean, I was riding my bike, and so I would just you know go through burn, you know, and I was always making, but I would get habit like okay, I had aggression, you know.
Let me ask you this because I ask a lot of the
Yeah.
guys this question. So, well, you're actually already kind of giving the answer already. It's aggression, but did you have a missing fear factor that some regular people have, or were you just pushing yourself inside that things that normal people don't do became natural for you?
Well, you know, like I said, I think I just got I gained a lot of experience young, you know, and I gained all the,
Okay,
and, you know,
yeah.
I mean, desert riding, you know,
Second nature.
yeah, I was just, you know, you just, as, you know, riding, the more, you know, you ride, and I loved it, you know. As a matter of fact, that's why, what I'm trying to get at is, when I would come home, I would get on my bike and I'd you know, ride around and you know, like hit berms and hit jumps and, you know, I would pretend, but it was, I would just like, you know, I was bummed that I couldn't be on my motorcycle, so I would just, you know, kind of take the aggression out on my bicycle.
And then
You
when
know?
when did you start racing? What age were you for that?
Like 13, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about 13, you know. Yeah, about 13. But I rode. I mean, okay. Grew up in Norwalk, you know, California, and right by our house, right across the big street, they built a little league park, or built like
Sure.
three stadiums, you know. And so what they did with all the dirt, they put all the dirt out, you know, in this
Dude,
park, you know,
Yeah.
tons of it, you know. And this is when I was like 8 to 9 years old, you know.
Uh-huh.
So what happened when they put all that dirt? It just all of a sudden, man, it was a mecca. There was probably 300 kids out there riding their bikes. You know, like all the kids from the
I
neighborhood.
know the life, absolutely.
Yeah, you know.
It-
So yeah, like you know, so I mean, I was like 8 or 9. Well, from that, you know, it was you know, it went on. Okay, we went on for a couple of years, but from that place, Tinker lived like down the street from there. Tinker Juarez.
All right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, dude,
Another legend.
dude,
Right?
he's the man. He is the man. You know.
So even though you guys like made it through the world of BMX to the top, you were just two kids in the same neighborhood
Just
to start out with?
Two kids in the same neighborhood,
That's
you
incredible.
know. And, but actually, yeah, but there, you know, like I said, there was hundreds of kids there.
Sure.
During the you know, during the week, or on the weekends, you know. Just, you know, we had made jumps and ended up making like a little track, you
Right.
know. And it was at a park, you know.
Don't forget about the forks. That's how we started this conversation.
Oh yeah. See, I mean,
I
yeah.
almost forgot too.
Yeah. So, but you know, just that's how it all got started. You know,
Right.
it was at that park, and well, what happened just real quick is there was
Sure.
a park manager there. You know, that you know he was in charge of the caroms and the tetherball. You know, and he saw all the activity right there. You know, in front of him, and he organized a race. You know,
Get out.
No,
Instead of shutting everyone down.
yeah, no, yeah,
Wow.
well, exactly. Instead of shutting everyone down, or you know, trying to put a stop to it, he embellished it, and had, you know, divided them, like had like 8 and under, 8 to 12, and then 13 and over. You know, like
Right.
a simple 3 classes. You know.
Yeah, like a pro.
Yeah, just you know, just like that. And so from that, okay, so you know, it's just like okay, okay, so anyway, it started off like that.
Were you
And
winning these races?
Okay, at first, I think I won my third race, you know.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it was, you know, so yeah, it was. As a matter of fact, I came home with the trophy, and my mom and dad, where'd you get that? Where'd you steal that from? You know.
The guy in the park.
Yeah, well, no, man, I've been at the park, man. You know, racing. They go, what? You know, you're racing? What are you talking about? I go, yeah, every weekend, you know, they have races down there, you know. Because I would just every day.
Your parents didn't even realize.
Had
that
no
you were-
idea. You know, they knew you know, they knew.
Yeah, but this is the real beginning of BMX.
The real
It's
beginning.
not like there was a track there. You guys made a track,
Yeah,
and then the park guy
Yeah, started races. I had
joined.
I had no idea that there were other races going on, races around.
Right.
That's like the Yamaha Gold Cups, I think, had been established.
The what Gold Cup?
The Yamaha Gold Cup
Okay.
events. They were like 4 events, like in San Diego, Van Nuys.
So Yamaha, the motorcycle company, was
Yes.
sponsoring bicycle motocross
Yeah, well,
races?
they had
Wow.
they had a Yamaha motorbike. They had a bicycle,
That's, you know.
Yeah, so it was but this was a
What were
really
you riding during this time?
okay. I was riding a girl Schwinn, turned into a monoshock. A
Okay.
monoshock. My dad made it, but it was crazy. It was really that bike was so cool, man.
Right.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a monoshock, but I even originally my dad made a side hack. I had a side hack made into it,
Right.
And it was so I had a side hack, and that
Your dad could weld?
Oh yeah, my dad was an excellent welder. He was,
Okay.
yeah, shop foreman. So he made a monoshock out of a girl Schwinn. I mean, he had the swing arm. Dude, he was a magician. So anyway, that bike was so cool, and that's what I was racing.
How much did it weigh?
It weighed a lot. I don't know. It was heavy, but the thing about it is with the monoshock, it was really it would go through the corners, and it would like suck down,
Right.
It was just really cool, man. I dug that bike so much,
Knobby tires?
Yeah, knobbies, a Carlisle in the front.
What year was this?
1973.
Okay, so Schwinn was putting out the Scrambler with the knobby tire by
Yeah.
then as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Just for a time.
Sure. Well, yeah, we were making our, we were custom. It was a big group of guys, a bunch of guys. It was actually, a big group of guys. So they're all in the Schwinns. These guys were like a little bit older than me actually. And
Were you beating these guys?
well, at first, okay. Now this is when I was like, this is the very before. Now these guys, it was kind of weird. Okay, from in school. And when I was going to school, just out of elementary school. These guys were all from my school, like
Sure.
but they're like 1 grade or 2 older than me. Then once I started racing at Holyfield or started riding, it was like a whole different group, because these guys, it was just a second group,
Right.
So these guys, I learned from the first guys, the guys, a little bit older than me, and they were all into Schwinns,
There wasn't that many options back
Yeah,
then either.
right.
You had to be into Schwinn,
right, yeah, oh yeah, they were all into custom painting,
Wow,
But like I said, they were like a year older than me, kind of thinking about it right now. So then okay, that was cool. So they kind of schooled me, or I kind of and then they kind of moved on into high school, and then so here I was back like left in 7th grade, and then I kind of parlayed that over to the park by my house,
Okay.
And so I had gained some experience.
Yeah, you
and
were the
some
young veteran of the crowd.
Yeah, kind of gained some experience and some knowledge from these older guys.
Right.
And then coming back, when I was riding at the park now, it's kind of funny, there was it was just a bunch of kids, and it ended up being, Tinker and myself kind of ended up being the standouts, And Tinker, man, we would ride every day, and then so we would end up riding every day, and like, it ended up being like
Was
me.
he your friend?
Oh yeah.
You weren't like competitors from the
Oh,
neighborhood, like you were the two
we
buddies.
Yeah, we ended up
Okay.
being friends. We just ended up being friends from that place. From the.
I mean, so there you are in the lot, and then the two of you found yourselves in
Yeah,
real
yeah.
competitions together a
Yeah,
few years later.
He was actually about a year. I think he was a year younger than me.
Okay.
So like I would race 16 and over, and he was like 14 and 15 or
Right.
something like that. We up until then after when he turned 16, we raced together. But yeah.
Were you guys racing in BMX? Well, obviously that was before like the boom.
Yeah. That was before the boom. And like I said, when we were out racing at that park, Holyfield Park, I had no idea that there was any other races anywhere around or anybody else.
And there weren't that many, though, right?
Well, to tell you the truth, okay. Now this is what it was weird. I mean, David Clinton, Stu Thompson, all these guys, they were racing, sponsored by Dirt Masters. I mean, they already had sponsors. NBA,
Really?
The NBA was already established. With tracks out in like Sylmar, Lemon Tree Mall. Out in the valley.
Didn't you become a part of one of the associations?
Well, I ended up once I went once I was exposed or found this out. It's like I started then I started I raced there, I raced everywhere I could, wherever, so I raced all those NBA tracks, then Western Sportsorama out in Orange County.
Okay.
And, that was a big, and I probably raced there every Friday night for 5 years, every Friday night.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, unless we were at a national or something.
What
but,
kind of level of winning were you doing? I mean, even throughout your history, even when you went back and did like the veteran guy ride, you were winning that too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the names that are mixed in there with you, you're like the first true year of BMX theoretically,
Well,
right?
kind of, okay, to keep it honest, like I said, was, when we started that racing, started our little park deal, they already had been racing probably like a year before that,
Okay.
and like I said, the NBA has already been established,
Okay.
and so, but Stu, I was in Norwalk, Stu Thompson was right there in Whittier, so once we,
He was the figurehead at that time.
oh yeah, he was,
Yeah, Toby
he was,
basically
yeah.
mentioned the same thing.
yeah,
right?
he was, so this is really weird.
Was he the man to beat?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
But it was him. It was Stu Thompson, David Clinton,
Okay.
and then John George, but David Clinton and Stu Thompson were pretty much, from what I can recall, they were the big heavyweights, So real quick, it's a good story. So here I am racing to Holyfield. Like I think it's like the third or fourth race there that I'm racing. That they,
Right.
and so all of a sudden. I'd get there in the morning, sign up or whatever, and all of a sudden this a Kawasaki van pulled in,
Okay.
Kawasaki, wow, and these three dudes get out, a manager, in the jacket,
Right.
the manager, and the three guys get out, riders, one small guy, and then two guys, like my size. One was David Clinton, and the other one was Marvin Church, and I was blown away.
Well, they were getting out like the pros are here.
Dude, man,
Okay.
it was full on factory. It was
Right.
a factory, and I've got a Schwinn girls mono shop,
Right.
and they're riding factory Kawasaki's, man. Swear to God, it was it was all that,
Yeah, it
I
sounds
mean,
like-
I was like, whoa, man, I was tripping.
Yeah, it's written-
factory dudes. This is a factory.
Yeah, they make
factory,
movies based on this
Yeah. Oh, man.
concept, right?
Totally, dude, totally. You know what I mean? So it gave me goosebumps, and so anyway, by this time I think I was 13, and I had gained a lot of. I've gained a lot of. At this point, I had a lot of. I was a good rider. I don't want to, but I had a lot of experience. We would ride every day after school from as soon as we got out of school until dark.
Yeah, you lived on. Well, that's what this all.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Even
Yeah.
the new bikes now are
Yeah.
based on living like that as a kid. And
Yeah,
we still ride around all night.
Right.
And I'm old
Totally.
now.
Yeah, I mean, totally. And I've been on a few rides, and I would like to go on so many more. And I will, but that's what we did, just as
Right.
kids, and we would just
Did you
ride.
beat the Kawasaki guys that day?
Okay, well, what happened was, so David Clinton, dude, he was the man,
Right.
He was the man, I mean, hands down, there's no doubt about it,
Okay.
So here's the deal. So, but see now of course, they came into this place at Holyfield. I was born and raised there.
Yeah, it was your track.
Yeah, I've been riding there since I was 8 years old. I'm 13 now. I knew I knew every inch of it. I can jump. I mean, dude, we had that place wired.
Yeah.
And I
home
mean,
track.
just add it down every. I mean, we like I said, we covered every. And so here we are. Okay, and it was really cool. It kind of went up, but in the middle, like up in the middle section, or where the dirt, kind of mountained up.
Right.
There's all these really. There's these dugout berms, and there's grass had grown. The grass has grown, so like it was almost like a lip, like a berm.
But
Really,
you knew it already because you were riding it all the time, right?
I could go feet up through those turns.
Okay.
Feet up, because I just knew, and it was always on race day, man. It was like the dirt was just so awesome, so
Right.
just grippy,
Okay.
It's just everything, it's just it's
Perfect dirt.
Yeah, it's a combination. It's a combo thing, I mean, the dirt it's the morning of the race, you're all pumped up, and the track is just groomed, So anyway, I mean, and I'm feeling at home, obviously,
Right.
So we take off, and now again, I'm riding a girl Schwinn monoshock with a 5.5-inch cranks, I think it were, where David had a full on, with the hot thing was diamond cranks, you know, that was off
Right,
of
yeah.
Schwinn varsity 10-speed, but the Schwinn diamond cranks, and I think those were 6.5.
Yeah,
you know?
he had everything. This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
he had
right out
everything.
of an 80s
Yeah.
movie.
So anyway, so we take off out of the gate. It's flat starting gate, you know. We take off out of the gate, and I'm riding a big,
Yeah.
you know, a sled, dude. A sled.
Right.
But he whole shots, you know. He whole shots. But I'm right there. I'm right there with him, you know. So we go up, it would go around, you know, and then we jump up and it get on top of the dirt. So I'm right behind him, you know, and he comes into this really a cool right hander, you know, and he locks it up, and I'm like right behind, and I just went to the inside and passed him, you know.
Really?
Yeah, passed him. I just went to the inside. I mean,
It's
you
your
know,
track,
yeah,
right?
it's my track. So I passed him, you know. And dude, I passed David Clinton, you know. And so it was all that. So anyway, makes a long story short, so we're on first. I'm jamming, you know. And as you come down off the hill, and you come back around, jump a water jump, a mud hole, total mud hole, and then you sprint to the finish, you know. And so he passed me going to the finish line.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but from that point, he came over to me, you know, and I guess he was totally blown away. You know, he goes, dude, man.
Yeah, he doesn't think the guy on the girl's bike that weighs
Yeah.
400 pounds and has his dad welding parts into it is gonna.
Yeah, so I earned a ton of respect that day, you know. And David said, I mean, not to this day, but for a long time would always, you know, he was just totally, it blew him away. It blew him away. I mean, that I was even able to compete, you know, or
How
I
many-
mean.
In the future, did you end up racing him quite a few times?
Oh yeah,
more?
yeah. We became really good friends, you know. David, yeah. But I earned his respect, as you might want to say, because from that point on, he would always, he just, you know, it just, you know, he'd always, it just,
Yeah, because he knew if you were on
Yeah.
the same bike as him, and maybe it would have been a different
well,
answer.
well, and now I don't. Okay, now from that, okay, so as the day went on, you know, we raced, you know, so that later on that day, you know, his manager came over to me.
Oh,
And he goes, hey man, he goes, that was pretty, you know, you're pretty damn good, or you're pretty good. That was a good. He goes, how would you like to ride? How would you like to ride for Kawasaki?
get out! This is how you. This was the beginning of your career.
Yeah,
this race?
yeah, I'm on a Grossman monoshock, you know, t-shirt, you know, whatever.
Right.
So I go, wow. I go, really? He goes, dude, man, you're good, you know. He goes, yeah, you definitely, you know. He goes, you're the first one I ever seen past David.
Get out!
You know, like, you know, whatever, you know. I mean,
that moment started the
dude,
next level.
yeah. But
for
again,
you.
you know, yeah, I'm in that. I was at my, you know, I.
Well, yeah.
You know,
that's- you
so
know.
the combat level, I mean, everything, you know, I just, it was not unfair, but it was, you know, I mean, I passed him, and he told me, he goes, man, I've never seen anyone pass him, you know.
Like you said, you knew the track, but he had the bike and he
Yeah.
had the van.
Yeah.
And you
So,
still. Wow.
okay, so trip out on this. Okay, this is it's a good story. Okay, so he gives, you know, so he takes my name. He goes, this is Saturday. He goes, okay. He goes, give me a call Monday morning. He goes, we'll have you come down, you know, pick up your bike, and I'll get a uniform. I'll get your name on the uniforms. We can get those. I'll get those to you. But come down Monday, get your bike so you can start riding it. You know,
Right.
get used to it. You know. So I'm like, oh man, you know, dude. I was like, you know, I was like freaking out.
It's
you know,
a fantasy
yeah,
come
yeah,
true,
yeah.
right?
So I'm like, well, just like in awe, you know. Okay, so moving forward, later on, so that day, they usually have big barbecues after the race, you know.
Okay.
You know, have barbecues and stuff. So I'm hanging out, like, you know, I don't even think I said anything to anybody, you know. It's just whatever, because we're hanging out. I was hanging out, and by this time, my mom and dad are down. You know, they end up coming down. So
Yeah, to find out where all those trophies are coming from.
yeah. So anyway, it was really you know, they have barbecues, you know. So okay, well, I'm waiting, you know, so I'm eating a hot dog or whatever. And as we're sitting there, kind of a group of us, you know, there's two-wheelers. Marshall Wheeler from Two Wheelers was a bike company back then, you know.
Okay.
And he sponsored one guy, which was my neighbor, Mike Schmidt.
Wait, another neighbor?
Yeah, well, like yeah. He sponsored, you know, he ended up and my neighbor Mike Schmidt, you know, he was sponsored by Two Wheelers, you know.
Yeah, all right.
You know, just right. I mean, everything was just happening. You
Yeah,
know?
all the names are popping. They all lived right by
Yeah.
you.
So then, okay. So I'm eating my hot dog, you know, minding my own business, and his sponsor came up, you know, kind of next to me. It was rolling up a brand new Stroker 2, and he had a helmet bag. He had a helmet bag, you know, over his shoulder or whatever, and I kind of was, kind of startled me a little bit, and everyone's kind of like, what? Everyone's kind of, tripping out, and because he's a brand new bike, brand new BMX bike. I think it was looking sweet,
Right.
And so he goes, "Hey, Bottema." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Hey, man." He goes, "How'd you like to ride? How'd you like to have this bike?" I go, "What do you mean?" I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Hey, yeah, I want you to ride. I would like to have. I would like to have you ride for me. Ride for. I'd like to have you ride for me. He goes, "And here's your bike." I go,
Wait, isn't Kawasaki still?
Whoa.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
like,
hold on. Okay,
you
so
get 2 sponsors
yeah, so
in 4 minutes.
so earlier that day, of course, they had the Kawasaki, and I mean, dude, come on, man. Team Factory Kawasaki, man, OW 250, So anyway, so okay, so he comes walking up, and in the helmet bag, brand new Killer Bell helmet, and he has the uniform with my name on it
Already.
He had done it the week before.
Okay.
And he was,
Yeah,
and
he's like, I'm gonna get this
yeah,
kid
yeah,
on my
yeah,
team.
He's going to surprise me. He was there to surprise me. But he had the uniform already made with my name on the back. The pants and jersey. And a bitchin' helmet.
And you're still only 13 in this
Yeah,
story,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Still only
Jeez.
13.
This is
And,
insane.
yeah, it was. It was. But so here I am. I'm going. I can't. I'm sitting here to myself going, oh, I can't. Can I say fuck?
Yeah, why not?
No, I mean, I'm going, oh, fuck. I go, oh, man. To myself, of course.
Who did you secretly want inside your head? Kawasaki?
Oh, dude,
or-
Kawasaki,
Okay,
man.
all right.
Kawasaki, dude.
Sure.
I was a motorcycle guy. I was a
All right,
motorcycle.
that's right. I
Motorcycle.
apologize.
Dude, I mean, come on. This is like a dream
Okay.
come true. I mean, just like, it was a dream come true. I could not believe it. I mean, it was.
So what goes on? Does Kawasaki come up and chase him away?
Okay, no. They already had left. They already
Okay.
had left.
Oh,
Yeah, because David lived in Simi Valley. That was like, an hour and a half from where we were. So, yeah, the race is over. We're having a barbecue, and that Kawasaki, they're gone, So this is Saturday, So here I am. I'm going, oh my God, and I'm just, I was frozen, pretty much frozen, and Marshall goes, say something, or whatever. Well, I go, I just was like, I didn't, I could, I mean, dude, it was like,
Yeah, how do you get all that
yeah,
out?
and it's like my parents, it's like, of course he wants, they didn't, I don't even think I told them, to tell you the truth.
They didn't even know you were racing.
Yeah,
Until
they
after
didn't
you
even know
won.
racing, so it was just kind of it was kind of a weird deal. It was a long time ago, though. I'm trying to remember, per minute, timeline. But
Sure.
but the Kawasaki guy came early, and then they left, and so I had his number and everything. Going, wow, And then Marshall comes up with his, wheels the bike. The bike was looking sweet, and a uniform. So I had to. I mean, it was pretty much. I had to. I had to take it. I had to kind of take the 2-wheeler thing,
Yeah, the
So
bike in your hand is
bike,
better than the bike in the bush,
And
right?
yeah, so anyway, I was just like, I was in all, okay, first of all, in order, I was bummed because I wanted the Kawasaki thing, but I mean, how can I, but on the other side of the fence, I mean, dude, I just got my, first new, I got a sponsor, new bike, killer bike, man, killer bike, uniform.
Yeah, you're lucky you didn't sit around the barbecue any longer.
Yeah.
Some other bike company would have showed up with a bike too.
Yeah, so I mean, how awesome, how lucky or I mean, dude, I mean, it was and that changed that day. That changed my life from that day on.
Yeah,
I mean,
bunch of signature bikes later, traveled around the world.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I mean, like you said, you didn't come from a wealthy family.
Yeah.
Like, did you have
Oh.
any idea that you'd be going to? Did you go to Australia? You went
Yes,
to Europe,
yes.
Australia,
Yeah, we went to Australia, England, Holland, France.
all on a BMX bike.
Yeah, all on a BMX bike, and getting paid, getting paid, it was crazy. It really was crazy. Things came fast, but the thing about it is I was ready for it. I was ready from that day at Holyfield Park. I was a rider, man. I mean, I had experience, and I confidence was. I mean, I was just, I was a good. I don't want to say. I mean, it's hard to say, but I was a very experienced rider, and that was from all those in the desert, growing up. Riding motorcycles, all that stuff, and
Well, how were you at traveling around the world? Were you? Some people implode when things get different.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny you say that because I just I had no problem at all. I loved it.
Sure.
I loved it. I mean, I just engulfed it. Yeah, I got which is what I'm thinking about. See, I end up in my. I'll just be real brief, but and in my job, I end up working in Cannes, France, at the film festival there. Later on, I started doing trade shows, but so I would travel to France, and
You
I
were-
had there's
But you were also, didn't you, in like the whole crew from your time period of BMX, do some Mountain Dew touring as well?
Yeah, we did the Mountain Dew a little bit, but yeah,
Okay.
nothing out of the,
Okay.
nothing. But yeah, we did. Actually, yeah, we did schools. We did elementary schools,
Okay.
but anyway, what my point was is when I was doing the traveling, when I went to work, when I was working, like all the guys they brought like 30 guys from the states over there, to set up to set up this the film festival, trade shows. Basically,
Okay.
it was so, but and half the guys was getting sick, or they're having a hard time with the time,
Sure.
change because So, but, I mean, not me. I had no,
You're like, this is what I do.
yeah, no problem. Exactly. I mean, I remember getting home from work. We got home. It was like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and the Long Beach Grand Prix was just getting ready to start live. So it was like 8 or 9 at night where I was at, but it was 8 or 9 in the morning. Back
Sure.
back here. So I kind of remember. I remember that. So it was almost opposite. But I didn't. I mean, I loved it. Loved it. Loved everything. I've really been fortunate to do the experience that I had, the experiences that I've had. But I've always, worked hard to attain it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you were goofing around and it came along magically. You put in the work that it
Yeah.
took. So wait, we actually started talking about
Yeah.
the first round of forks.
Mhm.
So 5 years later, what put you in the position to make your own forks? You started your own company, or you had one of your bike sponsors?
No, really, at the time me and Toby were racing for Raleigh,
Okay.
and like I was about 18, getting to be a bigger boy, bigger, and we're hitting bigger jumps,
Sure.
and again I was just yeah, and then sitting in my man cave or my garage looking at my motocross bike, my motorcycle, and I was just I would stare at it for hours, just
Sure.
because I have actually. I had just been of course Raleigh was after DG. I raced for DG, and DG is a big motorcycle
Which
company.
You had a 24 with them. Am I wrong?
No, not Raleigh. Yeah, no, that was
No,
Murray.
with DG. Did
Oh, no, oh yeah, no. You know what, DG? I didn't have a 20. I didn't have a 24. Just my
Okay, that's my mistake.
Yeah, no big deal. But a 20 inch. I had my 20 inch BMX bike.
Was it a signature?
Yeah. It ended up being a Jeff Bottema model signature the DG1.
What was it like being a young guy having a bike named after you?
To tell you the truth, I didn't. Looking back now, it's more looking back from being the perspective of now I look back and wow, it's a whole lot bigger deal now.
Okay.
But at the time, dude, I hadn't. It was like we were
Normal.
just racing. I was racing. I had no. It didn't even dawn on me. I
Okay.
mean, in other words, it didn't go to my head. I mean, I was nobody.
Sure.
I just
Well,
was.
Here's the natural next question. So it's been all those years.
Mhm.
You've been involved on BMX on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Then you went into mountain biking, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And now here we are in 2020. I mean, the
Mhm.
stories you're telling me about are from 70s and 80s,
Right.
right?
70s and 80s.
And
Yeah.
now,
Uh,
what, you get a phone call from Mark? How does race, all of a sudden you have another signature bike coming out.
Yeah. Well, see now, I guess which is really
How's it feel this time?
yeah, it's really cool. I mean, so I guess Mark, they're I don't want to blow their cover or nothing, but they're aggressive. They're being really aggressive.
Okay.
They came to me, and I completely blew me away, right? Shocked me. But they came to me and they said, we've got big plans. We're doing big things, and we want to do not only a new line, like a new line, but we want to dabble in old school, like the old school,
Retro.
Yeah, retro,
Yeah.
And I guess through I don't know, through word of mouth or through some, he goes, dude, your fork is the most iconic fork, that it's like, dude, it's the fork, from back in the day.
Well, he's a real BMX fan.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
so he goes, dude, he goes, and I want to be, I just have to propose it to you. I would like to, I would like to, I want to be, I want to buy him. He's basically he came to me and said, he wants this is his plan,
Right.
and it was really, to tell you the truth, it's perfect. I had been, I had been making them.
You've been making them?
Yeah,
still?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I had been making them just recently. I mean, just I started making them again, but it was really I don't have no capital, so it was really tough. I was having a hard
Right.
time to achieve this, Although it was really strange. As soon as I had them made, I could sell them immediately. It was not a
Right.
problem there from that aspect, but it was. It's really a long story, and it's yeah.
Understood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But anyway, to tell you the truth, it was a blessing in the sky when Mark came to me, because I was, it's like I was it was really kind of frustrated about it. I wanted it had such the potential, to be what it looks like.
So you almost got a magical. You were putting in the
Oh.
work on the side, and then for another reason, an added piece came along and
Yeah.
made it happen.
Yeah. So now, yeah. So lo and behold, he just with what he did with what he had, just he laid it out, laid it all out, and I could not be more stoked to be part of the program,
Did you imagine? Well, obviously you were making the forks yourselves, but did you realize BMX was going to be pulling you back in?
I'm blown away, blown away.
Did the forks lead to the bike?
Well, see, now the bike is a Race Incorporated frame bike, bike. So it's really, to tell you the truth, it's a Race Incorporated bike with my forks,
Did you see? I gotta interrupt because
No.
did you? Remember when Race Inc. was just the frame, fork, and handlebar in the back of the magazine?
Yeah.
When you were racing for all the other companies, did you see a lot of Race Incs. in your life at the time?
Yeah, I was good friends with Mickey Lundy. Mickey Lundy.
Sure, he's still around. We
Yeah,
see him
yeah,
on
yeah,
rides.
yeah.
Yep.
Right. And so Mickey Lundy, yeah, total hardcore, the original Race Incorporated factory rider,
Right.
So, but yeah, so I've always been aware of Race Incorporated. They always made good bikes. I thought I think I'm not sure exactly the partnership with SC Racing. I don't know for some reason
I've read so much. Back then, there was all kinds of intertwining because they were all sharing welders, and whoever was the
Right.
biggest company at the time, like Mongoose, was making the frames for all the different companies. This
Yeah.
might not be actually perfectly factual,
Right,
but this is the
right.
basic idea.
Yeah, and I don't know exact facts either, but I
Yeah.
just there was
I
was
just
some.
remember, there was my Schwinn that I had.
Uh-huh.
Then there was the Red Line for 250. Then there was the Ripper
Right,
for
right,
350.
right.
And then there was this Race Inc. thing in the back of the magazine that
Yeah.
only either a rich kid or a full-blown pro rider had.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know what to associate, but for some reason I associate back then I associated SC and Race Incorporated kind of maybe
They did have something to do with each
yeah,
other.
something anyway. Anyway.
Yeah, one of my bike friends told me one of them was making the other one's frames.
Right. That's I think what it was, something like that. But so anyway, yeah, I was aware of them, but when Mark came to me and
Julio, you're the one that told me.
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, but when Mark laid it out.
What's up, Julio?
Not much, Mike. Very fun.
Yeah. Where you at right now?
San Diego, man.
Nice.
Free ride.
They laid it out, man. Dude, they're Race Incorporated. All I can say is they got big plans and huge and great ideas. They're gonna. I can't even divulge what the things.
Sure.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really cool. They're going after it aggressively, and then it's great. I'm just so stoked to be a part of it.
So let's ask a few questions that you said that were being written to you. Are there color options, or are you the black and gold?
Well, now so I think now it's still, this is so early still early. I mean
Okay,
there's two colors. There's going to be right now two color there's going to be two colors. I think it's blue. I'm not. I got to be. I don't want
Racing blueberry.
Yeah, and then this one the the colors on this one.
The red.
Yeah, well, the one that's in the one of the today.
Oh, they had the black one with the gold trim.
Yeah, the black. Okay,
the
that,
chrome mixed in.
right. That's good. That's yeah. That one, and then I understand. I gotta be. There's gonna be. I know there's two.
Other people were reposting that around the internet today. Like, I didn't just see it on Race Inc. or through you. Like,
Yeah.
there were people like everyone's putting like 20 fire emojis underneath it and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, man. It was like I said. Well, I say viral, but it blew up, man. It was blowing up. When at just right before I came here. So it's awesome, man. It's really cool. To see it receive. Of course, I had told them. I explained to Mark. I go, look at. I go, because basically I get a lot of mail, I get a lot of inquiries from people, and I say kids, but they're not kids. We're, I mean,
Yeah.
But I get a lot of inquiries, a lot of comments about, just people about, I get a lot of this is, yeah, I remember growing up when we grew up, we lived right down the street from the like just whatever track.
Anyone who lived near any track has
Yeah, yeah.
seen you in real life.
Oh yeah. And they said this is a true story about him and he's just two friends. They went to school, but they lived right down the street from one of the tracks back east. And
Okay.
every month, once a year, they'd have the national. And they would come to the track.
How
and,
often were you traveling as a young person?
Dude, it was if it was every weekend. I mean, if it wasn't, we were racing like probably 3 nationals a month or 3 big races. I mean,
Okay.
I spent I was living out of a suitcase. I was in Florida more than I was in California.
Right.
I mean, for some reason, Florida was a hotbed, and that was the first
Weather.
place. Yeah, that was the first place that I traveled to back in 1975 on Team Webco.
Get out.
We were like the first team. Us, Kawasaki.
There's a Webco hanging from the ceiling
Really?
over
Yeah.
there as well.
Yeah.
How was it riding for Webco? Because, like, I don't even know their connection. Do you know their connection? Like, they have the same stickers as Mongoose and look like
Yeah.
Mongoose.
Well,
What's that all about?
Webco was basically was another. They were a motorcycle company, motorcycle accessories,
Okay.
and they were located in Venice, and they saw the potential. They made a BMX frame,
Okay.
And this is like right then when I was racing at that park, on my Grossman motorcycles, they had already established themselves with the frame
Box style frame? 'Cause,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I'm old enough that my Schwinn Scrambler, I still had the old round frame. I had the year before they switched over to the
Wow.
square frame.
Yeah. So
Talk about a heavy bike.
yeah. So well, that the Webcos were really they were nice. They were just like a new frame. I mean, they were a
Sure.
good a great. I mean, they were
Who was in your grade? Who were you racing at the time on a regular basis?
Well-
and were you guys racing each other on a regular basis, or did it depend on what state you were in?
basically pretty much when I first, like I said, the first tour that we went on, I was 15, so it was I think it was a 14 and 15 and then 16 and over, because the first tour when I raced back in Florida, I actually raced like a junior expert. I guess they kind of called it,
Okay.
because I was 15. Now 16 and over, it was 16. It's always been 16 and over.
Okay.
Growing up. And,
Sure.
So the next year I raced 16 and over, but that first year I was and I think they kind of considered it a junior expert, and which I won, my races back there.
Was that when you were racing Toby and Stu?
Okay, now,
or were you, are you the same age as PK?
Yeah. Well, okay, on that tour, okay, we were, like I said, it was no one had ever raced out of California.
Okay. Really?
Except for Arizona. I think a couple times we went to Arizona, and
Right.
I remember like Dirt Masters was a big team back then.
Okay.
With Rick Toomey. That was like the big, that was like the cool team. And then a Webco had just there was Webco had a team. Kawasaki had a team.
What was the team back then? 4 people, 5 or 2?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Okay.
Like Webco had like 4.
Okay.
4. Kawasaki had 3. And Shimano also on the first tour that we all went to Florida. Shimano had a team, which and with Byron Friday.
So you were racing for
Webco.
Webco at one point,
Yeah.
DG at one point.
Yeah. So with the first tour in '75.
Raleigh.
Yeah, David Clanton and Marvin Scherf was there on Kawasaki. I was on Webco with the Watson brothers, Archie, Jim, and Jeff Watson,
Okay.
and then Rick Miller, and then myself.
Sure.
So we had a pretty strong team back then.
Okay.
We were right there. And this is a man. Things happen fast. Things happen fast. But what had happened is, just to kind of to put it in a timeline, I'd gotten that two-wheeler sponsor.
Right.
And so I went from a girls,
Two-wheeler.
yeah, two-wheeler.
Okay.
And they had a bike. The bike was called a Stroker 2.
I remember the name of Stroker 2 better than I remember the name Two Wheelers.
Yeah, that was a company name, company
Yeah.
name. So, okay, so anyway, I had a Grossman monoshock, boat anchor, but the thing was really, the bike was low center of gravity, and it just rode. Thing was, I loved it. It was a really good, nice handling bike.
Do you have a favorite bike from that time period?
That's it, man. That's
Okay.
it. That's
All
it.
right.
And long after, okay, so my point was, okay, so I got the Stroker 2. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with it or not. The Stroker 2 has a high crank hanger, has a high, the pedal, the bottom bracket's high, kind of up high.
I'm not that familiar with
Yeah,
it.
well,
Okay.
so anyway, it's a total polar opposite of my Schwinn girls bike, which had a really low.
Yeah, you have a lot more clearance now too in this, right?
But see, that bike's handled so good, because
Right.
of the low center of gravity. Like I said, I can go feet up through those berms, because of the low center of gravity. It was just perfect, So this two-wheeler, and it had a super steep head angle,
Okay.
So it had a steep head angle, a high bottom bracket, and I had a hard time.
Really?
I had a hard time with that bike and getting used to it. I couldn't get used to it. I couldn't.
Were you not winning on it?
Well, I know. I actually was. Winning. I was winning.
Okay.
I was doing good. I just didn't like the bike.
Sure.
It was uncomfortable. I hate to say that. Because
It's far enough away now that you can say
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if they were
Because, I mean,
sponsoring you right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
I'd be like, oh,
because
shut that
Marshall
up.
was cool. He was really cool.
Okay.
And again, man, I mean, I have to be so thankful. I was so lucky, but I didn't like the bike at all.
Sure.
I just it just felt so foreign.
Yeah,
it
I
just wasn't
understand.
comfortable on it. Like I could ride my bike. Like it would be, like I'd go to the desert, on the weekend and come home and I can jump my bike and it was just.
Well, I can really relate this to
Yeah.
this. Like, you're a bike rider like myself. So when I'm around people that aren't, when I'm far from home, if I don't already have my bike with me, they're like, you want to go bike riding? It's like, well, not really. I want to go ride my bike, but I don't want to just go ride any bike that you've got laying
Oh
around.
yeah, totally. And that's kind of like, so what what my point was is, so I think after like 3 months, riding, I quit. I quit. I just
You quit
couldn't-
the team?
Yeah, I quit the team. I quit the
Okay.
team. Two-wheelers. Yeah, I quit the team. And I quit the team because I just hated the bike. I hated
Right.
the bike. So then I end up. My brother bought me a Webco. Bought me a Webco frame. And I with Moto Man.
You didn't go straight to another sponsor?
No,
Okay.
not at first. I quit. Just quit.
Okay.
And I had bought it, got a Webco, built it up, Moto Max, custom paint. I think
Back to heavy, right?
Yeah, but it was the thing, it was cool. The bike
Sure.
was sweet.
Yeah, Mark
It's-
Hawking had them. I was jealous.
Yeah. So okay, so then so from there, so okay, I had my killer Webco. So I think the first race was at Saddleback. It was a big race, and all the heavyweights were there. Paul Furman, Lund, Bobby Watts, Stu, Brian Ramazinski, all on.
It was game on again.
It was game on, dude. And I end up, I was like leading. I was winning. I won my heat race against all these guys. I was like won my
Right.
race. One. I mean, I just, I was just a hardcore racer. I mean, I was just, really set on. I just didn't really pay no attention to what. I just raced and I just went for it.
Okay.
And I just so happened I won like my first moto.
Right.
And I think you transfer out of your first moto and you go right into the semis.
Oh, perfect.
So here it is. First moto. I transferred. So I'm kicking back, and so I didn't know this, but Chuck Robinson was the team manager from
Robinson? Okay.
For Webco. He was a team manager
Okay.
for Webco, and he started talking to my dad, and I had no idea.
You're already on the Webco.
Yeah, I'm riding the Webco, but the team, so he started talking to my dad. So that after that race, like Monday, man, Chuck comes pulling up to my house, and pulling up, man, Team Webco, man.
This is like your other story all over again.
Yeah, so here I had no really, Chuck had kind of worked it out with my dad.
Okay.
Got our address, and just pretty much. I mean, it was a given. I was, of course, I was. It was. He just assumed. He didn't assume nothing. He, I was on the team. I mean, he talked to my dad. He got these, and so he showed
Yeah,
up.
it's like the Stroker
And I
story.
really didn't have. It's kind of strange. I I'm surprised my dad didn't tell me, but I mean, I was kind of shocked. Whoa, blown away. I had no idea, about
Uh-huh.
this. And all of a sudden he shows up, and same type of thing. He wheels out a bike, wheels out a
Was the
bike.
new Webco
Yeah.
better than the Webco you were riding?
Yeah. Team, It
Oh.
was a factory Webco, dude. It was sweet, dude.
Okay, got it.
Sweet.
All right.
It was sweet.
There were some things.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
got
yeah.
it. All right.
It was, definitely totally different. Not totally. Well, I don't want to
Like
get
the components and
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, it had 7.5-inch cranks.
Wait, I'm going to interrupt this story because I like us to go back and forth.
Yeah.
Do you know what kind of cranks are going to be on your racing?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't know.
All
No.
right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, so see, we're still in such a preliminary. It's all preliminary. I mean,
I understand, but you're here in the picture.
Yeah.
went up today.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it was
Right.
like a multiple choice, type of a thing. I said, oh, this looks good. I like this. Oh, this, So it's coming. And so basically, I'm anticipating, and this is, I anticipate, getting more involved, getting really picking out as far as getting more involved in depth. So I mean, I did. It has my forks on it. That's the most important thing to me.
Yeah.
It has my forks on it. And that's gonna make that bike. It's gonna, when
Well,
people, it's gonna make it.
As a rider who's around all the riders, the ones
Mm-hmm.
with money and without, some people just like to change everything no matter what. There's
Yeah,
no way
yeah.
around that.
Right.
But one of the things that's like, what's the headset going to be like? What are
Yeah.
the cranks going to be like?
Yeah,
Do I
yeah.
have one of the brands where the bolts fall
Yeah.
out? Like,
Yeah.
you
Good
don't want to be working on a brand new bike.
Yeah, good point. And again, all the, now again, this is really Race Incorporated in itself is being reborn and is all brand new. I mean, everything is new.
Yeah.
So I mean, so I'm so they're really they're doing so much is being accomplished right now. So much. I mean, they're tackling everything. Not only my little venture or my little thing. I mean, besides my little thing that they got their whole line.
Yeah, they have the whole.
Yeah,
There's still a track company. They have those super light little.
Yeah. So they got
They're
their
serious about their engineering too, right?
yeah.
Okay.
They're totally. But they are. I don't want to say overwhelmed, but they're they got they know what they want. They have it all down on paper, and they're just it's all being accomplished. It's all being put together right now. So with me, they laid it out. They said, hey, what about this? What's it? This. So I said, yeah, I like, I gave my input.
Next year, you're going to be out there signing frames like the
Yeah,
rest of the guys.
So like I said, I think what I would like to be, so what it was, we collaborated, and now this is the finished product,
Right.
So with what I said, so again, so that so I really, like I said, this is the first time. I mean, we talked, and I looked at things. They showed me things, and I said, oh, they gave me like a multiple choice. What would you like? What would you? So I chose this is,
Sure.
And so now this is what we saw today.
Okay, so what are the things that you look for in a bike? Like, I like my bike to be light,
Yeah.
and I like my bike to be fast.
Mhm.
I can't really. I mean, I can wheelie for 5 feet. I'm not a wheelier,
Yeah.
and I'm not even a big air guy. But I love riding downstairs really fast.
Yeah.
I love hauling ass. I love handling. I love lightness.
Uh-huh.
What do you love in a
Well,
bike?
the thing that I'm really stoked about is if you look at the frame, now there's the frame like you can see bikes like growing up, and like I explained earlier, like that 2-wheeler didn't I hate it. It didn't.
You
ride-
like center of gravity.
Yeah, it didn't ride. You're right, center of gravity. It didn't ride well, and that's due to the center of gravity.
Okay.
So if you notice that 29 has a short tail section,
Okay.
which is really cool, which is great. It's the center. The cranks are relatively low. It's a low center
Okay.
of gravity, and it's got my forks. So because I hate to emphasize it so much, but they really do make a big difference when you ride the bike, especially a 29-inch. A 29-inch is a big bike with big wheels. And if you don't have, I know for a fact.
So you like a tight ride, basically.
Yeah. Well, smooth. Yeah, tight ride. Right.
Okay.
In other words, no flex.
Got
no
it.
flex.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
want
I'm hearing.
Yeah, no flex. Yeah, just like it turns, dude. It like you can even
Something you can lay down in a berm.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
And even going around like going if you're riding down the street, yeah, and you're gonna go around like the corner, like around a sidewalk, dude. I mean, it's just really right. It's hard to explain, but it just turns so it just turns good. So I just want I just can't wait for people to experience that, and if, for example, like okay, I had made these frames, the number 25 frames, the brand 25 is what I call them. And
Okay.
yeah, I don't know if you are even aware of that, but
Yeah.
okay, well, I was making frames, and they had the gussets were number 25 stamped in them.
Okay.
Okay, so I sold 25 of them, limited edition, and dude, these bikes.
Do you have one of them still?
Well, I ended up, okay, what I did.
You sold your own by mistake?
Yeah. Well, not by mistake.
Okay.
Okay. What it is, you see, I've been fortunate. I've been fortunate. I was always given new bikes. Always, through. I was always given new
Do
bikes.
you ride a lot right now?
Not as much as I would like to, but I do ride.
Yeah, you certainly haven't stopped.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I ride.
What do you pull out to ride now?
Well, right now I got it's a chrome. I got a boys or men's and a women's. They're chrome beach cruisers, but it's but they're really cool. I mean, they're cool, but they're
Sure.
they're chrome. They're from I forgot the name of it. They're Taiwan or
Okay.
China,
Sure.
And they even have but they're all chrome, totally all chrome with fenders, But I'd ride the girls one,
Yeah.
I'd ride the girl because for some reason it's just right. It's cool, man. It's a cool.
Did your
bike.
dad weld into that one
No,
too?
not
Okay.
yet. Not yet. But anyway, it's cool.
Okay.
It's really cool. Anyway, so I write it, and anyway, so what happened was I was making these frames, made 25, limited edition, sold them all in one day.
Jeez.
Yeah, they were super super popular.
Okay.
Super big hit, and so with the intention as I was going to make more. I want to do a 29. I was in the process of doing a 29, but when COVID hit, and see with my, I got pulmonary hypertension, so that's like I have, and then on top of that, what that manifested from, I was stabbed when I was around 23 years old.
I read that.
Yeah, I was racing. It was right when I was racing for Murray, and what happened was I ended up being a team manager, and they had a 10-speed or Olympic 10-speed team, and it was huge. So
Right.
I was like the team manager. I ended up being a team manager. I just had retired and moved back to Nashville and was working in their corporate office,
Right.
and being working with the corporate folks.
You've always been in bikes.
Yeah, always
Okay.
been by. So what happened was I flew into Dallas and in Texas. They had they called Tour of Texas. It's huge every year, a road bike race.
Okay.
And so we had Murray was sponsoring a team, big bucks. But they had like 5 guys, all killer bikes. Big, a lot of money. They're spending a lot of money on. It was Olympic, prior to the Olympics, like 8 months before.
Okay.
So anyway, I went down there and it was St. Patrick's Day, in Dallas, and we were
St.
staying down.
Patrick's Day. Ugh.
Yeah, we're staying downtown Dallas. We just got in earlier that day, and we was with the team, and ironically, one of the guys that was on the team was one of the original BMX riders from he was from Whittier, but back in like when we were racing in those days in Holyfield when we were riding Schwinn beach or little girls bikes. This one guy, he was from Whittier, but he was one of those kids,
Okay.
And so now, 10 years later, he's now a road bike racer,
Yeah.
and he happens to be riding for Murray.
Okay.
So so I'm there working, So anyway, we got, I got there and we got together and I think we went to the store, like the Circle K we went to buy some beer, some Lowenbrow. I don't know how old you are, but anyway, Lowenbrow was the beer back then.
I remember those. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we went, so we went and we were in a bad part of town, and unfortunately, when we came out, we were in a Lincoln Town car, and he was driving. I was sitting shotgun, but there was some like some thugs on my side of the car, and they go, hey man, pretty much, hey, hey what, hey boy, what do you got in the bag, I don't know, we just got some beer, and we got some beer, you know, I'm trying to stuff it off, you know.
Yeah.
But what the bummer was, my friend was driving. He was on the other side of the car, and he is frozen. You know, if he would have unlocked the door, if he would have hit the automatic door locks, you know, I could have dove in, I could have got in.
Right.
You know, but it was a big pause, you know, and I didn't want to take my eyes off these guys.
Yeah.
You know, and so I go, but I had no. It was like a stall, and they, you know, they're getting, you know. So anyway, I took my eye, I go, unlock the door, you know, unlock the door, motherfucker, you know, unlock the door. And when I did that, they lunged at me, you know, I had no idea. I didn't see or feel anything, but I thought that they had tried to grab the bag of beer. I had like, you know, 2
You
six.
thought they were after the low and
Yeah,
brown.
I thought they were after. Yeah. So I'm up against, so I'm by the door, and so they end up, you know, like kind of jamming me, you know, and I didn't, because I wasn't looking at him. I was looking at my friend, and I ended up sliding up, kind of like up against the car, and I ended up by the hood, and I slammed the beer down on the hood. I go, man, dude, they took off running. They didn't get the beer, you know, but they like body slammed me. They body slammed me, you know.
And you didn't even know what had happened.
I
to
didn't even
yourself
know
at
what
the
happened,
time?
you know. Like I was by the door, and they body
Shocked.
slammed me, and I ended up by the front tire, you know. And I put the beer on the hood. I go, man. Dude, what? Dude, why didn't you unlock the door, man? Why didn't you unlock the door? You know. And he goes, are you all right? Are you all right? I go, oh, I think I broke a beer or something. You know, kind of wet. You know, I'm all wet. You know. I go. He goes, you know, really? I go, yeah, man, something. I go, man, dude, you believe, you know, if you would have unlocked the door, then, you know, but you know, you wouldn't, you know, but I didn't know at this time, so I'm wet, you know, and so I had the beer on the hood, and I lifted up my shirt, dude, and this was blood everywhere,
God.
you know, blood everywhere, and I just, once I saw that, it was just, you know, I literally turned to spaghetti. I just like, you know,
I don't blame you.
you know, and so what happened was he stabbed me in the liver with an ice pick.
Huh.
I never felt it, you know, but that's what the doctor told me, you know. He stabbed me in the liver with an ice pick, you know. It was, you know, he know, you know, doctors they know exactly, you know. It wasn't a serrated knife or you know, it was an ice pick, you know. He said it was an ice pick, and it was a long one, long enough to you know, to hit my liver. So from that, you know, so anyway, so he poured me in the car, and took off out of there, burning out. I remember because I was like starting to, you know, I was getting really lightheaded, you know, and like, you know, and so, and then I was kind of like in and out of consciousness, but I remember like seeing the light, the blue and red lights, you know, on the roof of the car, like, you know, I was inside looking.
Were they trying to pull him over while he was
Oh
driving
yeah,
you to the hospital?
totally. As soon as he went burning out of the parking lot, happened to be a cop around there. Cop pulled him over, you know, and he's all frantic. Man, my friend just got stabbed. You know, and the cop, son, just calm down, son. You know, and he goes, no, my friend's, you know, he goes. So he called the cop called an ambulance, you know. So and then he arrested my friend. They arrested him, you know. And didn't called an ambulance for me, and they you know, came pick me up, and I'm like, you know, like I said, barely in and out of consciousness, and you know, so they loaded me up, and all I can remember is the guy was screaming in my ear, you can't fall asleep, you know, what's your number, what's your phone number, you know, and so I ended up, you know, telling him, I go, man, quit yelling at my ear, man, you know, I quit yelling. He goes, you don't understand, you cannot fall asleep, you know. So I got it. You know, I got it. Okay. So he takes me to Parkland Memorial Hospital in Dallas, third largest or third best trauma center in the country. You know, they're like
Thank
they're trauma.
God.
Yeah, thank God. You know, and so it was where they brought John F. Kennedy when he got shot. You know,
All
they
right.
brought, you know, Parkland Memorial, man, famous hospital.
Well, I'm glad it went better for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and again, there's a whole story behind that. Okay, but when they brought me in, you know, they had I was lost the most blood I can use.
I'll bet.
But they cut. I was being fed blood like through my ankles and my wrists. You know, I mean, you know, I don't remember this though. You know,
Yeah.
but I woke up 4 days later. You know, in intensive care. I had tubes coming out my mouth. You know, and I couldn't talk. But I woke up. You know, and what had happened is they tried to repair my liver. tried to repair my liver, and 12 hours later, it didn't work. It didn't hold. So they had to go back in and remove a portion of my liver. You know, I'm sorry, you know, but it's the only organ in your body that will grow back.
Right.
You know, so
Thankfully.
yeah, so 12 hours. So within 12 hours, I had two major operations. You know, I mean, liver, emergency surgeries. You know, two of them back to within 12 hours. So then that's when I was in intensive care, and so I basically like I said, woke up and and found out.
Okay, we're back. You might not have known we were gone, but what happened was the camera actually ran out of battery juice.
Because of my long-winded
Well, poor Jeff was
stories.
being accosted in Texas violently, and
Yeah.
we see that you've recovered, and we've
Yeah.
gotten to the point where your liver growing back, and
Yeah.
you had
Grew
to drink
back.
milkshakes to heal again.
Right. You know,
And but we do know this episode is getting long.
Yeah.
So what we also want to do, we're going to be getting together again to make another one. But
Mhm.
also, I think before we go,
Mhm.
we should end on a little BMX talk.
Sure. What,
You
yeah.
know, well, not that I don't want to take away from the other
No,
story, but
no, yeah, no problem. Yeah.
And I'm glad to see, you've recovered again.
Yeah,
You
oh,
are
yeah.
riding a strand cruiser right now instead
Yeah,
of a
yeah,
BMX
yeah.
bike, which I find a little bit offensive.
Yeah.
But I also gave Toby a hard time for riding an electric bike.
Yeah.
Would you put disc brakes on a BMX bike?
Yes, I did. I
You
had.
did?
Yes, I had. I had disc brakes, man. Dude, I had my just. I don't want to give it. I had my own brand 25. I had.
Oh, that had discs
Yeah,
on it?
yeah. I had
That's
discs,
so
man.
funny.
It had discs, and that now that bike is kind of parlayed over to this Race Incorporated 29 because the bike I made it rode. It just rode so smooth, so good, you know. It rode so good. What I did was I ended up raffling it off because I wanted somebody, I wanted someone else to experience it, you know, the thing.
Right.
The bike was incredible, and it goes back to the forks, you know, just
Yeah.
the forks, man. It's just once you ride it, it's hard. Now people are going to see this is a really great opportunity. Now I've been not blasting. I've been yelling about it for years. You know how great the forks are, and just because it just makes it makes a bike
No, I
ride
can
so
tell
much.
from this conversation, you
yeah.
like a really solid, tight, fast-moving, great handling
Right,
bike.
right.
That
Yeah,
seems-
yeah. You know, just turn. You know, it's just the main thing. They turn. It's just it's just you have to experience it. Yeah, you have to experience it. Everybody should own one of these new 29-inch Race Incorporated with Bottema forks.
And and
You
even if
know?
you already have a bike and you're not going to be spending money because you don't have it to get another bike, you can still get the forks.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. You can get the
Yeah.
forks too. You know, you can get forks. But anyway, yeah,
They
it's
do look cool, though. I gotta say, and I know that it's more about the ride and everything. But
Yeah.
It's nice to have. It's nice to have style
Yeah.
mixed in with performance.
Yeah. Well, you know, again, it was. I did it originally. I mean, it was a cosmetic thing.
Right.
The looks. It was a cosmetic thing. And it was cosmetic, you know, because I was going for a look, but at the same time, they're heavy duty. They're
Yeah.
stronger. They're thicker wall, bigger bottom or dropouts, bigger dropouts, and it just makes it. It just changes everything, you know. And so now I've been yapping about it for years, but now I hope that more people. I hope everybody, the more people can experience it, because I guarantee you. When you get this bike with my forks, you're going to see what I'm talking about,
No.
you know?
Also, personally, I think it's an exciting idea that it came along when it did, because there are a lot of great forks out there. Like, there's no fork to insult. Nobody's talking about broken forks.
Right.
A couple guys have been on here.
Mhm.
Dave Volkner, he uses a reinforced fork on his own bike.
Right.
He's the man behind the 29 dyno now. You know, he was a 90s BMX. He was, the next generation after you. But forks are almost overlooked in the BMX cruiser world, which is what this show's really about.
Right.
So whether, it came from you or from Mark or your original invention, but when you put all those thoughts together, the fact that we're now going to have a 29 fork designed to be strong
Yeah.
and be
See,
solid
it's perfect. Yeah.
and look cool and be a new something for people to chase after. We don't
Yeah.
have fork options, you know?
Right.
We get all the stems and
Yeah.
seats and cranks and seat posts and pedals in the world just like any other bike, but now your fork is actually going to add something new to that game, and that
Yeah.
hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, and see, and it couldn't be more, 29. 29 inch is it's a big bike with big wheels, and you're gonna get
I
flex.
love 'em.
Yeah, you're gonna, and these forks are made for that bike, man.
When
It's
I ride,
really good.
when I ride a 29 now as a grown up,
Hmm.
I feel the way I felt when I was on my 20, like physically speaking. Like
Right.
I grew out of my 20. Now
Yeah.
I'm the same person I was on those 20s on the 29. And
Yeah, it's kind of strange. For some reason, I'm thinking about what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about with the 29 inch. It's a big bike, and you're gonna get flex. But I have a picture. Like on my DG 20-inch DG. Actually, I have a picture. It's from the California Cup in Corona, and it's a picture. And I'm coming through the turn, and you can see the frame. You can see you can see it flexing. I mean, it's a still picture from Bob Osborne. And dude, I mean, what it is at the compression in the first turn of Corona coming into it at the very end, and I'll show you after we get off there. But I mean, you can see the force, and it's flat. And you see the front wheel is like this, and the back wheel is kind of like that, And it's literally rooster tails coming off both tires, but the flame, I mean, it's flexing, dude. It's flexing.
I believe that.
And the thing about it is,
especially the way you were riding
Yeah.
them. I didn't ride them like that.
well, now also, okay, one thing to consider, or not consider, but one of the facts, the early DG frames, the gussets used to break out, and you kind of wonder, it makes you wonder,
A lot of early,
yeah,
when a lot of you guys talk about the original things, they had those flaws.
yeah,
And stuff.
right. Well, the first DGs had the DG was cut out. You can see through it,
Right.
So what? Then they went to a solid. It was like just the DG was indentation,
Right.
Like, and they had like a Mylar sticker
Did
that
that
they
help?
fit in there. Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally.
Okay.
Totally. But my whole point is that gusset was breaking. Like crack.
Yeah.
And that was. And I can show you, and I got a picture, the reason why, because that bike was, I mean, I had it.
When you send me the picture, I'll put it right here in the
Okay.
video for everyone else to see.
Yeah.
as well.
So, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, and that's why those gussets were, it was weird, a kind of mystery to me, but then after seeing the picture, dude, it's.
Now it's all about proper
Yeah.
gussets and strength.
Yeah, right. So that's what the forts are, those forts are made for that type of situation.
Okay.
So there's a reason for it, and they're going to be perfect.
All right. Hey, I'd like to thank everyone for watching this episode. For that little glitch in there somewhere, I apologize. It's the first time it's ever happened. I'd really like to thank Jeff Bottema for coming here and
Yeah.
talking to me today. I mean, you were interesting even outside the BMX world with
Yeah.
your conversation. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's
And
cool.
We're going to do a follow-up as well.
Hope everyone enjoys it. I mean, it's just a little, blip and things, but I have so many more killer stories, I mean,
Well, we're all going to be
Yeah.
seeing you next year when you're signing everybody's bikes at the ride.
yeah. So yeah, I'm really stoked to be a part of it, and I'm stoked that Race Incorporated came to me. This is really, it's going to be the future is going to be so cool, man.
Continuation of the dream.
Yeah, totally.
All right, everyone. Hope to see you again soon.